The unexpected. Different forms of magic can overcome each other, depending upon two rules. 1. The amount of power applied to a spell being cast. 2. The force that the spell feeds from. For example, in the case of elementals, fire is usually weaker than water, yet there are fires that survive water and can burn while underwater, for water is made of oxygen which fire can use to feed upon and increase its power to survive in water. There are also fires that do not require free oxygen to be able to burn. An example is glycerin mixed with manganese permanganate. This mixture will burn underwater with a purple flame. Water struck by lightning can break the molecular bond and release oxygen and hydrogen. But enough quantity of water can dissipate the electrical charge and render the lightning bolt harmless. A further example is that Earth can bury water with sufficient quantity, yet it can be seen that a raging river can wash away Earth. Thus a hierarchy of power has been discovered, and a compendium of this is taught to every magic student early in their studies. There are classifications of magic which are known as magnifiers. The main one, known by many, is the piercing magic. Piercing magic is accomplished by the casting of two spells. The spells are combined to penetrate a defensive spell. This is similar to a sword being sharpened to pierce through a shield, thus magic is magnified to do more damage. Conversely, there is a weakened spell, or piercing magic's other half. This spell is known as an intensify spell. It adds or subtracts damage from a spell. Additionally, there is a shatter spell. The shatter spell intensifies a spell's most favorable trait, and gives a second or multiple charges to create a sudden boost of power. These charges are like extra raw material for the magic to feed from, thus creating more damage. The Devourer. Marco was just a normal child, but he was born unto a line of great wizards from the Tower of Kel. The great wizard Kel himself took an interest in this child named Marco, even though young Marco did not have much magical prowess. However, Marco was brought into the Tower of Kel, under the orders of Kel himself. Kel taught this child magic spells unknown to many. Marco was proud to be a student of Kel, and regarded himself as being a general of Kel. Kel used Marco's admiration and trust to his own ends. One of the missions assigned to Marco was to gather all 3 boxes of Iliad. Although it was difficult and many men were killed in the struggle, he was able to acquire the boxes. Kel then used his position of trust to experiment with Marco's body. The boxes of Iliad contained 3 stones. Kel surgically implanted these stones into 3 people. One of the 3 people was Marco. Kel was able to successfully implant the second stone into a woman. The third, however, was a failure. The person died during surgery. The stone within Marco transformed him into a monstrous form. Kel was intrigued by this. After a few experiments, Kel returned Marco back to his human form. However, Marco had to be caged, as he was not in control of his actions. Every now and then a wizard of the Order of Kel was offered as a sacrifice and put in Marco's cage. Marco would devour the sacrifice and gain their body, abilities and memories. Marco is able to acquire the sacrificial body by transforming into whomever he devours, and thus gains their abilities, such as human skills and especially their magical powers. Marco is able to disguise himself by retaining every living memory, especially as the victim is devoured. Although Marco is a powerful force to reckon with, he cannot stop obeying Kel, his master, his god. The beast inside. Many forms of animal rituals have formed what is known as beast magic. Vampires and lycans or werewolves were the simplest forms, whereby a human gained the strength of an animal to the point of gaining features of the animals themselves. But there is the rare form where, unlike deformation of a human to an animal feature, the host is able to bring out the beast form at will, giving the person the strengths and agilities of a beast, and then when needed, they can reform their body, or revert back to human form. There are many people who are not able to control the change, and at times when the change happens, the animal within takes over and no human consciousness is left, making them dangerous and unstable. There are cases of people, while in beast form, change again to a more primal form of both animal and human traits, making them exponentially more powerful, wild and dangerous. Life Force Shy. As soon as you and your party arrive on the grounds of Terra, you start to feel weak, as if a fever has struck all of you. You and your party barely make it to a village. You find that everyone has their door locked, and so many are sick, it's like the weather caused this illness. Eventually, you and your party are able to find a place to sleep. In the morning you feel better, so you go exploring. In the evening you see a man toss something into the air. Immediately, feel feverish and weak. Being suspicious, you follow the old man and find him in the middle of a pillar of smoke. You see smoke gather to him from everywhere, and some smoke seems to come from your mouth to him. You fear that he is sucking the life force from people, thus explaining why so many are weak and feverish. You are lucky to have discovered this evil person. It is apparent that he has been draining the life force out of people. Michael, the archer, interrupts his chanting by firing a couple of volleys of arrows at him. The arrows became harmless flower petals as they hit him. He turns to face Michael, and his eyes glow green. Michael starts to choke as his life force is draining from him. All of your party charge this evil man, but are all thrown back. Then suddenly, Michael utters a spell from nowhere, and the life stealer screams and vanishes. Michael then says that to get rid of this evil life stealer, one must destroy his nest, his temple, and his ground of worship. No one asks how he knows this, but you all follow his instruction. Then Michael says, "Thank you, for now I may rest in peace. I lured you here to confront this evil, and now it's gone from this realm. We all can now be at peace." Then Michael falls into a deep sleep. You manage to take him to your accommodations in the village, and you have a well-earned rest. However, your sleep is uneasy, due to the fear of encountering this vampire-type demon again. Dark and light. Darkness was present when time began. Only after many eons did the universe create light. Light represents life, itself brought forth from the darkness. Like all entities in this world and others, there has always been the base of darkness and the light which symbolizes our life. Light has always been associated with heat, and that is what everything is born from. But the darkness is always there as the foundation of the creation of life. Light has the power to dispel darkness. Thus a form of wizardry has been formed. Light magic has a broad array. From fire to even its most powerful of all, divine intervention. Comparatively, dark magic ranges from being as simple as a small curse, to a spell as powerful as eradication. The next most powerful spell is called Heaven's Tears. This spell allows a body to be brought back to life. The Heaven's Tears spell invokes life energy to create a blinding light from a focal point and radiates outward, dispelling all magic that it may touch, except for some dark/destroyer magic such as dark containment, which is so strong that no light can penetrate it. The dark containment spell causes a body of darkness to be wrapped all around a person, city or town. The spell can also be used to envelope a light as powerful as any light/life magic can conjure, and obscure it or phase it into darkness. Even though light is quite powerful, don't forget that darkness is always present. It is just being blocked by the light. That is why there are things such as shadow magic.